Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Tertiary phase.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has much to say on the subject of time travel and its part in the unhallowed fate of the Cathedral of Chalism. It has, however, very little to say about the abduction of people by the remote reprogramming of teleportation coordinates to bring them to a Cathedral of Hate. This is because the abductee in question, Arthur Dent, is the only creature, apart from its creator, to witness the cathedral in all its awe-inspiring subterranean horror. But first he must endure the visions in the labyrinth that surrounds it.
Who's that? Is anyone there? Grow up, Arthur. There are no hideous monsters here. If there are, I'll eat my... Ah! What do you want?
Bet you weren't expecting to see me again.
But I've never ever seen a housefly as big as a dog.
Or perhaps you remember me better as the rabbit.
The rabbit? It's only a hologram, Arthur. Keep calm. The rabbit. The rabbit? No, I'm afraid I don't.
Born in darkness, raised in darkness. One morning I poked my head out for the first time into the bright new world and got it split open by what felt like some primitive instrument made of flint.
What?
Made by you, Arthur Dent, and wielded by you. You turned my skin into a bag for keeping interesting stones in. I happen to know that because in my next life I came back as a fly again and you swatted me, again.
Yes, but...
Only this time you swatted me with the bag you'd made of my previous skin. Arthur Dent, you are not merely a cruel and heartless man, you are also staggeringly tactless.
I don't really...
I see you have lost the bag. Probably got bored with it, did you?
No.
Meet the newt you trod on. That was me, too. As if you didn't know.
No?
The interesting thing about reincarnation is that most people, most spirits, are not aware that it is happening to them.
Look, I
was aware. That is, I became aware. Slowly, gradually. I could hardly help it, could I? When the same thing kept happening over and over and over again. Every life I ever lived, I got killed by Arthur Dent. Any world, any body, any time. I'm just getting settled down. Along comes Arthur Dent. How he killed me.
Look,
hard not to notice. Bit of a memory jogger. Bit of a pointer. Bit of a bloody giveaway.
No, really.
That's funny, my spirit would say to itself as it winged its way back to the netherworld after another fruitless Dent-ended venture into the land of the living. That man who just ran over me as I was hopping across the road to my favourite pond had looked a little familiar. And gradually I got to piece it together, Dent, you multiple me murderer.
But what I don't understand...
Here's the moment, Dent. Here's the moment when at last I knew.
Huh? No, I'm sorry. I'm sure I've never been in a huge pink wet cave with a vast, slimy creature rolling around over white tombstones. Oh my God. It's the inside of my mouth. And that's an oyster. I'm swallowing an oyster. An oyster that... was... you.
Tell me it was a coincidence, Dent. I dare you to tell me it was a coincidence.
It was a coincidence.
It was not!
It was!
If it was a coincidence, then my name is not Agrajag!
And presumably you would claim that that was your name?
Yes!
Well, I'm afraid it was still a coincidence.
Come in here and say that!
Right, I will! I can assure you that it was a... God!
The Cathedral of Hate that Arthur now enters is the product of a mind that is not merely twisted but actually sprained. and consequently has no place in a quality family publication such as the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is why this addendum concerning Arthur's current location can only be found in pirated editions, opposite banned commercials for Eccentrica Galambit's chat room and virtual sauna.
Come here, Daddy. You look so good.
The chamber has been carved out of the inside of a mountain, and beyond the twisted buttresses, overhead it is utterly black. Where it isn't black, Arthur is inclined to wish that it was, because the colours with which some of the unspeakable details are picked out range from ultraviolet to infrared, taking in liver purple, loathsome lilac, matter yellow, burnt ombre, and gan green on the way. The unspeakable details which these colours pick out are gargoyles, which all look inwards from the walls, from the pillars, from the flying buttresses and choir stalls, towards an immense statue, which we will come to in a moment.
Good grief.
Around the monumental walls are vast engraved stone tablets, in memory of those who've fallen to Arthur Dent. The names of some of these commemorated are underlined with asterisks against them. So, for instance, the name of a cow, which has been slaughtered, and of which Arthur Dent happened to eat a fillet steak, has the plainest engraving. Whereas the name of a fish which Arthur himself caught, cooked, decided he didn't like and left on the side of the plate has a double underlining, 3 sets of asterisks and a bleeding dagger appended, just to make the point. And what is most disturbing to Arthur about it is the very clear implication that all these people and creatures are indeed the same person over and over again. And it's equally clear that this same person is, however unfairly, extremely upset and annoyed. An annoyance which now spans the whole of time and space in its infinite umbrage, and given its fullest expression in the statue at the centre of all this monstrosity. A statue of Arthur Dent.
That's me.
And an unflattering one. 50 feet tall if it's an inch, which it's not, crammed with insult to its subject matter, from the small pimple on the side of his nose to the poorish cut of his dressing gown. There is no aspect of Arthur Dent which isn't lambasted and vilified.
Oh, please.
With each of the 30 arms which the sculptor, in a fit of artistic fervour, has decided to give him, he is either braining a rabbit, swatting a fly, pulling a wishbone, picking a flea from his hair, or doing something which Arthur's first glance cannot quite identify.
Surely not.
His feet, incidentally, are stamping on ants.
Oh, this is trying too hard.
Arthur is depicted as an evil, rapacious, bloodied ogre, slaughtering his way through an innocent one-man universe. And waddling round him, savouring the moment, is the black, razor-toothed creature that he has supposedly been persecuting all this time. It looked for all the galaxy like a mad, fat, scruffy bat.
Stop poking me!
I was at a cricket match.
Looking like that?
Not in this body! Not in this body! This is my last body, my last life! This is my revenge body, my kill Arthur Dent body! My last chance I had to fight to get it too!
But how could this possibly...
I was at a cricket match! I had a weak heart condition! But what, I said to my wife, can happen to me at a cricket match?
Oh, yes?
As I'm watching, what happens? 2 people quite maliciously appear out of thin air just in front of me. The last thing I can't help but notice before my poor heart gives out in shock is that one of them is Arthur Dent, wearing a rabbit bone in his beard. Coincidence?
Yes!
Coincidence?
Look, it's just fate playing silly buggers with you, with me, with us. It's a complete coincidence.
What have you got against me, Dent?
Nothing, honestly, nothing.
Seems a strange way to relate to somebody you've got nothing against, killing them all the time. Very curious piece of social interaction, I would call that. I would also call it a lie.
Look, I'm very sorry. There's been a terrible misunderstanding. Now, I've really got to go. I'm meant to be helping save the universe.
At one point, I decided to give up. Yes, I would not come back. I would stay in the netherworld. And what happens?
I don't know.
I got yanked involuntarily back into the physical world as a bunch of petunias in, I might add, a bowl.
Oh, dear.
This particular happy little lifetime started off with me in my bowl, unsupported, 300 miles above the surface of a particularly grim planet. Not a naturally tenable position for a bowl of petunias, you might think. And you'd be right. That life ended a very short while later, 300 miles lower, in, I might again add, the fresh wreckage of a whale, my spirit brother.
Well,
on the way down, I couldn't help noticing a flashy-looking white spaceship. And looking out of a port on this flashy-looking spaceship was a smug-looking Arthur Dent. Coincidence?
Goodbye.
You may go, after I have killed you.
No, that won't be any use, because I have to save the universe, you see. I have to find a silver bale, that's the point. Tricky thing to do, dead.
Save the universe? You should have thought of that before you started your vendetta against me. What about the time when you were on Stavromula Beta and someone tried to assassinate you and you ducked? Who do you think that bullet hit?
I've never been there.
What did you say?
Never been there. What are you talking about?
You must have been there. You were responsible for my death there as everywhere else. An innocent bystander.
I've never heard of the place. I've certainly never had anyone try to assassinate me, other than you. Perhaps I go there later, do you think?
You haven't been to Stavromula Beta yet?
No, I don't know anything about the place. Certainly never been to it and don't have any plans to go.
Oh, you go there all right. You go there all right. Oh, Zark! I brought you here too soon. I brought you here too zarking soon.
Well, that's a dreadful bore for you, of course, but there it is.
I'm going to kill you anyway. Even if it's a logical impossibility, I'm going to zarking well try. I'm going to blow this whole mountain up.
Leave that switch alone.
Let's see you get out of this one, Dent.
If that does what I think it does, you'll be bringing about your own death this time. Don't do it.
I'm going to kill you.
No, you're not. Oh, you shouldn't have tried to bite me. Gosh, those teeth are sharp. You've made a real mess of yourself.
You know what you've done? You've gone and killed me again. I mean, what do you want from me? Blood?
I'm sorry. No, not the switch.